The end of the world didn't start with sirens. It started with a blue screen appearing in front of my face. System online. Hold fast. Your power is what you hold. I was holding my old cracked phone. Seconds later, black towers dropped into Sacramento. Then the zombies came. Most of them were slow. That was the only reason anybody lived past the first hour. Slow, shambling corpses pouring into the streets by the hundreds, with just enough faster ones mixed in to turn every panicked crowd into a bloodbath. People screamed, cars crashed, and the city went from normal Tuesday traffic to full collapse before anyone even understood what was happening. My name's Run. I'm 29. Before the apocalypse, I was the kind of guy people only remembered when they needed a favor. I still carried around this beat-up Samsung I'd had since high school because every time I thought about replacing it, something else needed the money more. Then the phone changed. The cracks cleared off the screen. A map opened by itself. Streets lit up red where infected were thickest. Small red pings marked living survivors. Yellow icons appeared all over the city showing supply drops, and each one had little symbols over it telling me what kind of loot was there. Food, ammo, medicine, fuel, tools, weapons. Then the second part of the power hit. Order. At first, I only got 3 uses a day. That was the limit. 3 orders, no more. I still don't fully know where the stuff came from. Maybe the system yanked it from nearby stores. Maybe it pulled from warehouses. Maybe it just generated things out of thin air. I stopped caring after the third time I needed something, and it appeared. Water filters, batteries, antibiotics, camping stoves, ammo, duct tape, MREs, whatever fit inside the system's early limit. No tanks, no helicopters, no miracle cures, nothing too big, too rare, or too insane. Just enough to keep people alive if I was smart about it. That old broken phone became the best survival tool in the city overnight. And just like that, I stopped being Run, the guy nobody noticed, and became Run, the guy everybody needed. Tessa was there when the system activated. She'd been holding a cheap lighter, and that became her power. At first it was weak. Sparks, hotter flames, quick bursts of heat. Enough to light fires, cauterize wounds, scorch infected up close, and make people look at her like she was dangerous in a sexy way. Miles was there too, her so-called cousin. That's how she introduced him anyway. He was always hanging around, always in and out of our place, always one of those don't worry about him. He's basically family, people I was apparently supposed to accept without asking too many questions. He was holding a pocket knife when the system came online. That became his power. At first, it was just blade body transformation. He could sharpen his fingers enough to cut like short knives, or harden the edge of his hand into a blade for a few seconds at a time. Later it got nastier. Forearms like cleavers, wrist blades, skin that could harden into something sharp enough to tear through bone if you got close enough. Some people got amazing powers. Some got garbage. One poor bastard was holding a toothbrush when the system activated, and unless he unlocked Killer Plaque or Death Floss, his odds weren't looking good. The 3 of us ended up in the same survivor camp. Worst mistake of my life. At first I thought staying together made sense. More people meant more eyes, more hands, more chances to survive. I used the phone to guide us around infected zones, mark safer routes, and track the best supply drops before anyone else got to them. If we needed something basic and within my limit, I could burn one of my 3 orders and have it show up. That should have made me valuable. What it actually made me was useful. There's a difference. No one cared how tired I was. No one cared that my skill had limits. They just wanted more. Run, check the map. Run, where's the nearest pharmacy? Run, can you order water? Run, use one of your orders on ammo. Run, where's the next drop? Run, don't waste your scans. Run, hurry the hell up. My power leveled over time. More range. Better route prediction. More precise loot icons. Eventually 4 orders a day instead of 3. Later 5. But every time my phone got better, they leaned on me harder. They stopped seeing me like a person and started seeing me like infrastructure. A generator. A supply line. A machine they could talk to. They even locked me in a back room for protection, which was a cute way of saying they didn't want their golden goose wandering off. And Tessa? She stayed close enough to keep me cooperative, but not close enough to fool me forever. Back then I thought she cared about me. She'd sit next to me when I was exhausted. Kiss me after I pulled off a good route. Tell me none of them would have made it without me. Back then I believed her. Miles was easier to read. The stronger his blade power got, the more he acted like the apocalypse had chosen him personally. He strutted around camp like he was the one holding everything together, when half the reason any of us were still breathing was because my phone kept finding paths, drops, medicine, and food. The camp kept growing. So did the demands. The first time I caught Tessa and Miles together, I didn't even make a scene. They were near the back storage hall, whispering low in the dark, standing too close, touching too easy, both of them acting like I was too stupid to know what I was looking at. Tessa looked annoyed when she saw me. Not guilty. Annoyed. Miles didn't even bother pretending. That was when it finally clicked. Miles wasn't really her cousin. Cousin was just the label she used to keep him in my face without having to explain why he was always there. That should have been enough. It wasn't. I stayed. I kept helping. I kept feeding the same people draining me dry, because some pathetic part of me still thought loyalty mattered if you gave it hard enough. Then I started saying no. And that was when they decided I was more dangerous than useful. I woke up one night to Tessa crouched beside my bed. For one stupid second, I thought she was there to talk. Then I saw the fire in her hand. Not a lighter anymore. A real fireball. Small, dense, bright enough to paint the whole room orange. I felt the heat before she even moved. Then she smiled, and I smelled my own skin starting to burn. Miles hit me right after that. Blade through the chest. Then again. Then again. Tessa lit the sheets while he worked, calm as hell, like they'd practiced it. The last thing I remember from my first life was her face glowing in the firelight while she reached for my phone. Not crying, not shaking, smiling, like killing me was just one more problem solved. And the funniest part, even if she got the phone, she wouldn't get the power. That's one of the real rules of the system. The object matters at activation, but after that the power bonds to the user. Try to steal it, and it either goes dead or snaps back if the owner is still alive. Tessa killed me for a dead man's phone and a power she could never use. Then everything went black. I woke up gasping in my old apartment with 6 hours left before the apocalypse. Same date, same room, same city, same busted phone on the nightstand. I sat there for about 3 seconds trying to process the fact I wasn't dead anymore. Then I moved. This time, I didn't waste a second pretending I owed anybody anything. I grabbed cash, my keys, and whatever gear I could carry, then drove straight to the mall and bought the best unlocked phone I could get my hands on. Bigger battery, better screen, better hardware. If the world was about to become a survival game again, I wasn't repeating the first run with a dying battery and cracked glass. Then I made a list. Food, water, medical supplies, ammo, portable chargers, fuel, a better bag, better boots, and people. This time I only picked 2. Gus, an older mechanic who once fixed my truck in winter and refused to charge me extra because he said I looked like I needed a break more than he needed the money. And Lena, a quiet ER nurse who stitched my arm after a scavenging accident in the first life and never once asked me for special treatment, extra meds, or anything in return. That was it. No camp, no speeches, no heroic savior nonsense. Just me, and the only 2 people I could remember ever treating me like a human being. Tessa found me in the parking lot while I was loading supplies. She gave me that same look she always used when she thought I'd fold. "You bought that for yourself?" she said, eyeing the new phone. "Not for us." That was the moment I knew I was done. "It's mine," I said. Miles stepped up behind her, already wearing that same smug expression. "You really doing this right now?" I looked at both of them and realized how much easier people were to read when you already knew how they'd kill you. So I walked away. No fight, no speech, no trying to save the relationship. Just gone. When the system activated the second time, I was ready. Blue screen, towers, screams, collapse, and my new phone lit up. Better map, better tracking, same core skill. 3 orders a day at the start, just like before. Same need to choose carefully. Same pressure to prioritize what mattered most. This time I did. I used the first week to get us out of Sacramento alive. I used the first month to level the phone smart instead of wasting everything keeping freeloaders comfortable. I used the second month to accept something the old me never wanted to learn. You cannot save people who only love what you provide. From a gas station outside the city that we turned into a safe stop, I watched survivor feeds and emergency channels fall apart. Camps rose and collapsed. New powers appeared. Towers got cracked open. Some people made garbage abilities useful. Some people got incredible skills and still died because they were idiots. Eventually, I heard Tessa's voice again. She was broadcasting from some desperate camp east of the city, asking for help. Food, ammo, medicine, anything. Miles came over the feed a second later, cursing that their resource guy had abandoned them. I almost laughed. Even after everything, they still thought someone else was supposed to save them. The old me would have answered. The old me would have convinced himself being needed meant being important. The new me muted the channel and handed Lena another box of antibiotics. 3 days later, another feed came through. Their camp had fallen. Most of the people inside were dead. Tessa and Miles had survived. And now they were heading west. I knew exactly why. A map power, a supply power, an ordering skill. Rumors spread fast. They knew it was me. And just like in the first life, they wanted the phone. This time I was ready. There was a half-cleared tower outside Davis with a nasty reputation. Not impossible, just dangerous enough. Supply rooms inside, upgrade tokens, medicine caches. Also a nest of dormant, infected deeper in the structure that only woke if you tripped the wrong support triggers. I used my phone to plan a false route, made it look like we were moving toward a medical drop, then waited inside the tower shell with Gus and Lena while the map tracked 2 familiar pings coming straight toward us. Tessa and Miles walked in right on schedule. She looked harder than before, leaner, meaner, fire dancing over her fingers. Miles looked like stress and hunger had carved him down to bone and hatred. His hands kept flexing like he was already imagining what they'd feel like cutting into me. Tessa smiled when she saw me. "Still alive," she said. "Still useful," Miles added. That right there told me everything. They still didn't see me. Not really. Tessa stepped forward. "Give me the phone." I almost thanked her for making me laugh. "You still don't get it," I said. She threw the first fireball. Lena dropped and fired first. Gus kicked a steel maintenance cart into Miles's path. His blade arm slashed through a live tower support wire, exactly where I knew he'd hit if he panicked. The whole chamber lit up red. Tower alarms screamed. Deeper inside, the dormant infected woke up. Wet breathing, dragging feet, too many bodies moving all at once. Miles realized it first. "Run!" He turned, but the back route was already closing. My map had shown every safe escape lane the second we entered. I'd memorized the only clean path out. Tessa ignored the alarm and lunged for me anyway. That was the funniest part. Even with everything collapsing around her, she still thought the phone mattered more than the man holding it. She got close enough to grab the case. Nothing happened. No stolen power. No miracle. Just the same stupid shock crossing her face all over again. I stepped back. "You killed me for this once," I said. "And you still never understood what you were taking." Then the infected hit them. Miles fought harder. I'll give him that. Blade arms flashing, slicing through gray flesh, carving bodies apart as fast as he could move. Tessa burned everything she could reach. But the tower had too many blind angles, too many bodies, and too little space to survive if you didn't know the map. And I knew the map. Lena grabbed my arm once. That was enough. The three of us took the only safe route out and sealed the outer hatch behind us. Their screams followed us for maybe half a minute. Then the tower went quiet. We came out into the evening light with upgrade tokens, antibiotics, ammo, and enough supplies to stay moving another month. Gus looked at me once, like he was checking for guilt. I didn't have any. In my first life, I died trying to be everybody's lifeline. In my second, I finally learned the difference between helping people survive and letting them build a throne on your back. I didn't save the world. I didn't save the city. I didn't save the camp. I saved myself. And in the end, that was the only loop worth breaking. Thanks for listening on Hidden Thread Teller. If you enjoyed this story, let me know in the comments, and I'll make more like this in the future.